Sunday school program continues. Today we are in Genesis chapter 32. In this chapter, we're going to talk about Jacob now approaching his brother Esau. So he prepares for that meeting with Esau. Because what he has done to Esau long time ago, the guilt is haunting him. He is going back because the Lord has commanded him to go. But he is afraid because he didn't live in peace with Esau before he left home to go to his uncle Laban to hide. And now the hiding has turned to something disappointing to him. Even though he had wives, he has got families, he has got wealth in cattle and servants. He was going back home, but not a happy man. And the other one is a confrontation with God himself at a brook called Peniel. He named that place Peniel because he said, this is where I met God face to face. So we're going to delve into this chapter 32. Those two interesting things, get ready, come along with me and see. So we start reading verse 1 of chapter 32. I'm reading from the New International Version. So it says, Jacob also went on his way, and the angels of God met him. When Jacob saw them, he said, this is the camp of God. So he named the place Mahanaim. Jacob sent messengers ahead of him to his brother Esau in the land of Seir, the country of Edom. He instructed them. Now you see, he's sending messengers to go meet Esau first, to prepare the way for him. He wants to see if Esau is still bearing that grudge, that malice that he once had for him when he said, when their dad passed away, he's going to do away with him. Because Jacob has stolen his birthright twice now. So Jacob has this guilt at the back of his mind. Can I just go like that? He is thinking deeply about all the events that took place before he left home. So he is really fearful of going back like that to go meet his brother. So he decided to send messengers ahead to go meet him. And these messengers are not just going like that. He sent him gifts of animals, a lot of animals. So when Esau see these gifts to himself, to Jacob, he thought he would think I'm trying to pacify him when he see all these gifts. So let's read along and see what is going to unfold. So now we are in verse 4. He instructed them, this is what you are to say to my master Esau. Did you see that? He is referring to his brother as his master. Now he is recognizing him as his master. Since in their mother's womb, he's been fighting him to be the eldest. When Esau was the eldest, even at birth, he heard on Esau's heel that you are not going to leave me behind here. But in natural birth of things, somebody just has to lead. So Esau was first given birth to, and he came again along, holding on Esau's heel. So the fight started from there, even from when their mom was pregnant with them. They were always, the mom was having turbulent events in her tummy. And she went to seek the face of a prophet. And the prophet told her, you have two nations in your womb. The younger will fight the eldest, and the younger will be greater. That has been prophesied. And this is what is going on. So let's go along. I'm just trying to, remind those or bring back to your memory if you have forgotten, those who have been following me. Or if you just come across this, just trying to throw light on what we have been going through. So in verse 5 now, I have cattle and donkeys, sheep and goats, men servants and maid servants. Now I am sending this message to my Lord, that I may find favor in your eyes. This is the exact words he told the messengers to tell his brother. Now he's referring to his brother as his master, as his Lord. So let's go. When the messengers returned to Jacob, they said, we went to your brother Esau, and now he is coming to meet you, and 400 men are with him. I wonder what would be playing in Jacob's mind when the messengers gave him this message, that we have delivered your message to your brother. Now he's coming to meet you, and he's coming along with 400 men. Then Esau will be saying, 400 men coming to meet me? What am I going to do? Let's go ahead in verse 7. In great fear and distress, Jacob divided the people who were with him into 2 groups, and the flocks and herds and camels as well. So now he's preparing, because my brother is coming along with 400 men to come meet me. So you know what? I am going to divide my group into 2. Maybe if he comes to fight, if one group survive, the other group will, the other group will go and the other group will survive and tell the story. That was a lot of things is running into his mind. Let's just think about it in real life. When you do bad to somebody, you that have a conscience, because there are some people, they do bad to people, but they don't have a conscience to think about it. But at that time, you will ignore, or you will close your conscience not to think about it. But there is going to come a day, all those flashbacks will appear to you, and they will hit you so hard. If you know you didn't do good, it will hit your mind, it will hit your conscience, it will affect your emotion and everything about you. And when you do good, you will feel satisfied. Even if somebody you do the good to didn't praise you, but your conscience will tell you, don't mind them. You have done your best. Leave the benefits of the doubt to them. That is how our conscience are. We have a negative part and a positive part. When you do good, you will feel it in your mind, within yourself. When you do bad, you will feel it in yourself. Time will come, you will regret it. So let's go ahead and see. In verse 8, he thought if Esau comes and attacks one group, the group that is left may escape. So you see? So he divided his group into 2. That if his brother Esau comes and attack them, if he do away with one group will escape and will go continue to tell the story. This was what was running in his mind. In verse 9, then Jacob prayed, O God of my father Abraham, God of my father Isaac, O Lord, who said to me, go back to your country and your relatives, and I will make you prosper. I am unworthy of all the kindness and faithfulness you have shown your servants. I had only myself, my staff, when I crossed this Jordan. But now I have become 2 groups. Now he's thanking God for all he has done for him. And even with all the goodness God has bestowed upon him, he said he's not fit to get all this goodness because of what he has done. Because he has not been faithful and kind to his own brother. So let's go ahead. Verse 11. Save me, I pray, from the hand of my brother Esau, for I am afraid he will come and attack me, and also the mothers with their children. But you have said, I will surely make you prosper, and will make your descendants like the sand of the sea, which cannot be counted. So you see, he has that guilt in him. He's praying to God now to come into this, because it is this same God that has promised his forefathers, his father and himself, that he will make his descendants plenty, like the sand on the ground. And he's reminding God of all his promises to him and his forefathers, his grandpa Abraham and his dad Isaac, that God should remember all these his promises. He is praying earnestly that Esau will not come to attack him and do away with his family and his cattle. So let's go ahead. In verse 13, he spent the night there, and from what he had with him, he selected a gift for his brother Esau: 200 female goats, 20 male goats, 200 ewes, and 20 rams, 30 female camels with their young, 40 cows, and 10 bulls, and 20 female donkeys, and 10 male donkeys. Huge amount of gifts he has selected to put aside for Esau, just to calm Esau down, that Esau will not fight him. He is doing all this now to make peace. This is one thing we have to learn in this life. Being deceitful, you will enjoy it at the time you are doing it, but it will not give you anything good other than worries, troubles, everything that will make you sad, that can even bring sickness in your life. When you are deceitful to people, you cause them problem, you cause them sadness, disappointment, anger. Just the same measure you give to them, you will surely reap yours. This is what we should learn and know. Look at what people in the Bible, look at what this brother did to his brother, and look at what he is going through now. Even though God is close to them, God can come face to face with them, but he suffered because he didn't do anything right. God didn't leave them, but God watched them to see. That was a good way of teaching them a lesson, that when you don't live good with your own brother or your relative or somebody close to you, you are not going to reap anything good. You might acquire wealth, but what they call peace, peace that passeth all understanding, will not favor you. Even in this life we are presently, you can acquire all the luxury, all the wealth in this life, but if you don't have peace, you can't enjoy that luxury. You will only think like giving it away to people who don't have. All in the name of giving you peace. Peace is something you don't acquire with money. You acquire by your good works and by the grace of God on your life. If you say you are a Christian, you are serving God, serve God in truth, in holiness, then the peace that passeth all understanding will be your portion. So let's be careful in life. What is happening in this time of the Bible? The Bible is a reflection of yesterday, today, and forever. God himself has said it in his word, that heaven and earth may pass away, but his word will not pass away. And his word will not go empty and void, but it will fulfill that which he has sent it for. So let's be careful in this life. These are true life lessons we should learn and take as part of us. Be honest. Try hard. It's difficult to be faithful, to be honest, but let's do our little part. The one we can't do, we pray to God for his grace to lead us, to direct us, and to strengthen us, to enable us to do it. Let's continue in this Genesis chapter 32. Very interesting events are going to unfold. And now we are in verse 13. He spent the night there, and from what he had with him, he selected a gift. Okay, we have spoken about it. We'll come to verse 17. He instructed the one in the lead, when my brother Esau meets you and asks, to whom do you belong? And where are you going? And who owns all these animals in front of you? Then you are to say, they belong to your servant Jacob. They are a gift sent to my lord Esau, and he is coming behind us. These were the exact words of Jacob given to the messengers to relay to his brother Esau. Let's go ahead in verse 19. He also instructed the second, the third, and all others who follow the herds. You are to say the same thing to Esau when you meet him. And be sure to say, your servant Jacob is coming behind us. So he is doing this all as a bit to really see Esau's reaction. When they say all this, what they have to say, it is from your servant Jacob, and he is coming behind us. So from that, the reaction of Esau, we encourage him to proceed further to go. So let's go ahead reading now in verse 21. So Jacob's gift went on ahead of him, but he himself spent the night in the camp. That camp, when they arrived at that mountain, where he named Mahanaim in the beginning of the chapter, where he met the angels of God. And he named that place that, because that is where he said he met the angels of God. So let's go ahead now in verse 22. That night now, Jacob got up and took his 2 wives, his 2 maidservants, and his 11 sons, and crossed the ford of Jabbok. After he had sent them across the stream, he sent over all his possessions. So you see, he sent everybody across that river Jabbok, and then he stayed behind. So Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him till daybreak. When he dispatched everybody, and he was left alone at that brook of Jabbok, a man came to wrestle with him. Let's find out who this man is and why this man came to wrestle with him. Interesting, right? Let's go ahead. Now in verse 25, when the man saw that he could not overpower him, he touched the socket of Jacob's hip, so that his hip was wrenched as he wrestled with the man. Then the man said, let me go, for it is daybreak. But Jacob replied, I will not let you go unless you bless me. Why are you wrestling with somebody in the night and you don't know this man? And you held on him tight, that the man has to hit your hip to dislocate it so that he can, make you weak to let him go. And the man told him, let me go. It is daybreak. That the man didn't want him to see his face or to know who he is. So then he said, no, I will not leave you. Then he hit his hip to dislocate his hip so that he can make him weak. Let's go ahead. Then the man said, then the man asked him in verse 27 now, what is your name? Jacob, he answered. Then the man said, your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with God and with men and have overcome. Jacob said, "Please tell me your name." But he replied, "Why do you ask my name?" Then he blessed him there. So Jacob called the place Peniel, saying, "It is because I saw God face to face, and yet my life was spared." So let's talk something about this now before we come to the end of the chapter. Look at these events that took place at that brook, river. When Jacob left alone that night, suddenly a man appeared and started wrestling with him. He didn't know him, but he kept on asking him, "Who are you? What is your name?" But the man couldn't say anything to him because he was wondering, "Why are you fighting me?" A lot of things might have been running in his head. He might be thinking, maybe, is it my brother Esau that has come to fight me now that I'm alone? Who is this fighting me? But when the man told him, "Leave me, it is almost daybreak. Leave me, let me go." And he said, "No, I will not let you go until you bless me." I think he came to his senses. Oh, this might be God, or this might be an angel of God. Because he's asking me now to leave him, it is daybreak. He doesn't want me to see who he is. And they have wrestled the whole night. And before the man could let Jacob let go of him, he has to hit Jacob's hip, to render him powerless, or to weaken Jacob so that Jacob can really let go of him. But even with that, they continue to argue. He said, "What is your name?" And he responded, "Jacob." He answered. And the man told him, "Your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel." And he still continued to ask the man, "What is your name?" Then he said, "Why do you ask for my name?" But he blessed him there. And the man left. And that was when Jacob realized, oh, this was God. Because the man told him, "Israel is your name because you have wrestled with God and man and have overcome. So your name shall be Israel." So up to this day, the people of Israel are great people. God has bestowed his blessings on them because of one man and his faithfulness. Because of the faithfulness of Abraham, all his descendants that came after him, through Jacob, Jacob's name was changed from Jacob to Israel. Because the name Jacob, he turned out to be a deceiver. He deceived his brother twice before he left. He came to his uncle Laban. Laban deceived him. He too deceived Laban too. So everybody knows Jacob as a deceiver. In the event of Laban, his uncle, where he got his 2 daughters as wives, Laban deceived him first, giving him the wrong wife. He worked for 7 years. And again, he complained, and the man said, "Well, work again another 7 years because I can't allow you to marry the younger one, and the eldest will remain unmarried." Here, the eldest has to get married before the younger one. Then he said, "Because I love Rachel, who is the youngest, I will work another 7 years." And he did. And he worked for nothing. He works 14 good years for nothing. And the 6 years he was paying him wages, he was reducing his wage again, complaining of this or that. When the animals are attacked by wild animals, when they are killed or die, he will tell Jacob, "That's your responsibility. It's your pay." So you see, what he has done and ran away from was haunting him in that land. And he grew fed up and decided to leave. Because his God, he was complaining. And his God appeared to him in a dream and said, "Go home." Because God knew nothing was favoring him again. And even when he went into a deal with his uncle Laban, that since now the animals all are yours, take all your spotted animals away from these animals. And he took them and gave it to his own sons. And Jacob did something Say, you have done your worst, I will do mine too and show you that I know this job. He went and played a game by where they water the cattle. And when all those cattle are drinking water from that stream, with his branches he has stripped off, when they look at those branches, they consider they give birth to spotted animals. And they make an agreement that the spotted animals he has taken away. If any animal appear against spotted, that's not his. So Jacob got a lot of animals that even the sons of Laban were not jealous of him, that he has taken all his dad. And the man too become so changed. He become negative. He was not looking at Jacob again in a good way. And Jacob noticed and called his wives and told them, your dad no longer is giving me a good countenance. I don't think I need to stay here with all what I have done for him, all what I have gone through. And even the daughter said, well, our dad has sold us into slavery to you. So it is left with you to do whatever you want to do with us. Because all what he is doing in the name of wealth, he doesn't consider us that he has to make peace with you. He has to live at peace with you so you can treat us well. He's not even thinking about that. And Jacob decided to leave without telling him goodbye. And when Jacob left, he took troops to follow him, to chase him. And the plan he had, when he spent the night where he slept, God appeared to him and said, don't you say or do anything evil to that man, because he has done you nothing wrong. And when he went to meet Jacob, he accused him of stealing his images, the idols, not knowing the daughter stole the idols. But when he arrived at that spot, at their meeting spot, he was accusing Jacob of running away with his children without saying goodbye to him. He should have given him the privilege to kiss his daughters and their children goodbye and bless them. But he ran away. He said, you are blessed. The God of your people you serve appeared to me in a dream and warned me not to do you anything harmful. He said, otherwise it would have been something different. But this is what you did I didn't like. Why do you have to run away? And Jacob said, because of all what you have been doing, you ill-treated me. So I left in disappointment. And from that day, they made an agreement. They offered sacrifices in the presence of Laban's people and in the presence of Jacob's people. He went into all their tents, searched for his images. The daughter sat on it. Rachel sat on the images. And when he got there, he told his dad, sorry, because I can't stand up in front of you, my father, but I am on my menses. That is why I don't want to stand up. And he went outside, couldn't find the images. Why do you think Richard did that? Stole his dad's images? Because those images he's worshiping is making him go astray in life. So I think the daughter didn't want his dad to continue worshiping those idols. So she took them away. And she never gave them to him, even when he came in search of it. And that was one of the crimes he was accusing Jacob of. And now when he searched, he couldn't find. Jacob said, before you and your people and my own people, what wrong have I done you? Look at this now. You accuse me. Well, he couldn't find your images. But Jacob himself never knew one of his wives took those images. They never told him. That wasn't disclosed in the chapter of 31 we read. So in this chapter of 32 now, look at what now Jacob has come going back home. And look at what he has gone through after sending messages to his brother. Now he wrestled with God himself. And God blessed him, changed his name. But he was left limping with a dislocated hip. That is why the Bible itself has said it up to this day. The Israelites do not eat the hip of any animal, because they said that was where God touched Jacob. in that book of Jabbok that Jacob later named Peniel because he said, "This is where I met God face to face, and he spared my life." And God named him Israel, that you have wrestled with man and God, and you overcome. Is that not wonderful? Let's read the last verse of chapter 32. In verse 31, the sun rose above him as he passed Peniel, and he was limping because of his hip. Therefore, to this day, the Israelites do not eat the tendon attached to the socket of the hip, because the socket of Jacob's hip was touched near the tendon. Praise be to God. And that was the end of chapter 32. This is wonderful. This is lesson for us to learn. Whatever you do to your fellow human being, whether it's your relative, it's your family, it's somebody you don't know, good or bad, you will reap the reward. If that not that minute, but in the future, it will surely come for you. Anything we do, good, bad, you will not reap it from that spot. You might, if you are lucky, or whatever way God planned it for you, but you will surely reap it. So if you are somebody that is used to doing good, do not relent. You might do good to somebody, he will not compensate you, or he will not recognize it, but your reward is stored where you don't expect it, or even in heaven, as the Bible promises us. The same way, if you do bad to somebody, you might not have the reward that minute, but it will chase you later on in the future, or you might meet it at the end of your life, wherever you are fortunate to go. So let's learn from these true life experiences from the Word of God, sent to the people of God. God bless us all.